Our guest is Mr. Donald Trump, and he's ready. So let's say good morning to Mr. Trump.
Hello, Jeff. How you doing? You're going to make this a full-time business, I guess, huh?
I don't know.
You're doing well.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us this morning, and I know we want to talk about illegal immigration and your recent trip to the border. But, Donald,
right.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to address the people of Louisiana in light of the terrible tragedy that hit our state with the shooting last week. And
right.
I thought you might want to say a few words to the victims and the families.
Sure. Well, I just want to send my condolences. It's so sad what's going on. And I don't know, it just seems to get worse, but these are sick people. And unfortunately, every time something like this happens, because I'm a big Second Amendment guy, and so are you, they start trying to whittle it down, right? They want to whittle, and it's not going to happen. But, these are sick people, and this guy was disturbed. And it's too bad we can't figure it out beforehand, because now they go back and they check his past, and they see there was so much craziness in his life. But it's, people probably don't want to report it because they figure it can't be happening. It's almost like a surreal event before the fact when they see that he's nuts. But he was a whack job. There's no question about it, Jeff. And it's a really sad thing to see these young, beautiful people and just people being killed for absolutely no reason. Horrible.
Well, we appreciate it, and we appreciate you here in Louisiana. You brought illegal immigration to the forefront, and
right.
It's such a huge problem. And one of the things I appreciate is the fact that you've actually given a face. And we're simply just talking about victims, but you've basically given a face to those victims of people who have been affected by illegal immigrants. You want to talk some more about that?
Well, I'm very honored to have brought it. I took tremendous heat because I said Mexico is sending, right? But everybody took those words and they took them out. Mexico is pushing people over that they don't want, because they figure the United States is stupid. We have stupid leaders. They have no respect for us whatsoever. And so they'll take people and push them out over the border. Probably the guy who was here 5 times and killed Kate, he was probably pushed over. Because, why should they put him in a jail for 40 years when actually we will do it, okay, and pay for it? And, it's enormously expensive, and our jails are packed with people that were pushed out. So I made that statement. I took, as you know, as well as anybody, I took tremendous heat. And by the end of the week, all of a sudden people started to say, wow, Trump's right. And then, sadly, Kate was killed and other people were killed. Many people are being killed. And we have illegals coming in. Obviously, they're coming in illegally. And it has to stop, and I would make sure it stopped. I do walls. I do a lot of things, but you wouldn't have illegals pouring into this country, that I can tell you.
Well, we appreciate that. I used to say that all the time. You have a door on the front, in the front entrance of your house, and you put that door for a reason, and you have a lock on it. And it seems like on your border you should have a door, and it should have a lock as well.
Yeah.
And so, why don't you talk to us? Tell us why you think you're currently rising in the polls.
Well, I think I've hit a chord. Number one, I'm not controlled by lobbyists, and I'm not controlled by special interests. I'm not controlled by donors, and et cetera, et cetera. And I can't speak too loudly when I'm talking to you, but you understand what I mean. And, I'm not controlled by anybody. I'm going to do the right thing for the country. I'm going to bring jobs back. We're going to take them out of China and take them out of all these places that have just ripped us to pieces. They've ripped us to shreds because their leaders are much, much, much smarter than our leaders and much more cunning. And they laugh at us, the imbalance. Like Japan, they send us millions of cars and we send them like almost nothing. We send them meat. We send them wheat. It's the whole thing is so crazy, the imbalance, and those things wouldn't take place, believe me. And you look at Komatsu tractor now; it's really putting a dent in Caterpillar because they've cut the yen in Japan, and people are buying Komatsus not because they want to, but because they really sort of have to, because of the imbalance, and we're just being out-traded at every single level. And we're losing our jobs, and we're losing our manufacturing, we're losing our base. In Mexico, they're building a $2.5 billion plant. Ford is building a $2.5 billion. I mean, that's some plant when you think of it. $2.5 billion they're spending on a plant in Mexico, and lots of places are going to close in Michigan and other places, that make cars because they'll build them in Mexico. And I don't want them to build them in Mexico. I want them to build them in the United States, and I would do numbers where that wouldn't happen. Believe me, Ford will not be building in Mexico if I win. And that's an easy one. That one's easy. I'd tax the hell out of them until they straighten themselves out. Because what do we get out of it? They build cars, they send them into the United States. There's no tax. All we do is lose jobs and lose manufacturing. We get nothing out of that. So there are so many things. I mean, you could go on forever, but there are so many things, Jeff, and it's so sad. But economically, we're losing, and our real unemployment rate is 21%. It could be higher, by the way, but people aren't looking for jobs, and all of a sudden they're considered employed. They can't give up. They gave up looking for jobs. So we really have a problem, and we will straighten it out if I win. And I'm doing very well in the polls. I mean, every time I see a poll come out, I'm doing well. Even Walker, he was supposed to win Iowa, but now people are finding out how bad a job he's done in Wisconsin. He's got his deficit is $2.2 billion this year. He said it's going to be $1 million. He said it's going to be $1 million up, and now it's 2.2 down.
Well, Mr. Trump, we really look forward to talking to you again. We'd love you to come down to Louisiana and see the great things that are coming down in Louisiana, and hope to see you to make a tour through the state.
Good luck with your football teams.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning.